Hello, welcome to the ESS BIZTOOLS Business Advisory Services Starter Package overview on debtors management. I'm Peter Towers, Managing Director of ESS BIZTOOLS. Welcome. Fiscal management is a major problem for SMEs, and any discussion on debtors management must involve fiscal management. Many SMEs do not appreciate the necessity to establish a sound debtor system in their businesses. Now, if your client can avoid giving credit to customers, I think that's fantastic. But those opportunities seem to be decreasing because more and more people are looking for credit when they buy things. And if they're dealing with other businesses or government departments, they will have to give credit. And therefore, they need a debtor system. And that requires an understanding of the payment terms that apply. I think too many SMEs assume that everyone will pay them in 30 days. That's not the case. A few years ago, Australia won a dubious international award. I'd much rather win the World Cup. But we were awarded the recognition of having the longest debtors days outstanding in the world. So that instead of getting paid every 30 days, a lot of Australian businesses are getting paid 60, 70, 80 days. And in fact, I've seen them up to 102 days, debtors days outstanding. So having a written system that helps with the implementation of the quality control system is very important to manage this very important asset for your clients. It's a very difficult situation for a lot of clients. In fact, recently, the CEO of MYOB, Paul Robson, wrote an article in the Financial Review, and he indicated that based on MYOB's analysis of small business failures, that many people started off with great enthusiasm, a great new idea. But 6 months later, they'd hit a wall. What went wrong? He analysed a number of the issues, and one of the main ones was misunderstanding debtors, not understanding the terms of trade, not having a written system. In a large business, this is not the problem of the CEO, except he wants to know, or she wants to know if there's a problem anywhere, but it normally falls to the Chief Financial Officer to implement the system of control of a very important asset. I was the Chief Financial Officer of a listed public company, and I would discuss debtors with the CEO probably once or twice a month. And basically what he'd want to know is, were there any problems? Now, we were owed millions at any one time, but all he wanted to know was what was the debtors days outstanding and were there any emerging bad debt problems? Why can't you introduce the same system with your clients? Because I doubt whether many of them are going to come to a full realization of debtors' role in fiscal management other than those key figures. What's my debtors days outstanding? And you will need to educate your clients on that. And are there any emerging bad debts that we need to worry about? So let's have a look at the debtors management preamble within the ESS BIZTOOLS debtors management system that you could introduce. We incidentally do have a system on the debtors manual, which we have developed, the standard debtors manual, which you can then customize to suit the client. But we'll be running a separate webinar on that in the future. But that's the key document that we're recommending that you should be introducing to your clients. So what I want to now move to is to share our material with you. So that is now on your website. There are 4 packages within ESS BIZTOOLS. And the debtors management, like all of our products, is in potentially 4 of those. So the financial forecasting package receives everything that's in the other packages. But the debtors management starts very early in our journey. It starts in the advisory intro because it's such an important subject. But I'm now going to bring up debtors management for you to view. This is the preamble information. There's some information on debtors management and the suggested approach and where I think you should start. And we're now going to download that content so that you can review it and understand it. This is the material that's within the debtors system. There's a procedure control form, as there is for each of the ESS BIZTOOLS product packages. And then there's BAS's, Business Advisory Services forms, that all have their own separate number. Looking at the overall system, the all-important welcome to new customer letter and other information. And then we have suggestions for you to include in your work process and your ultimate report to your client. So there's a full system provided. Let's go to the procedure control form. Which is now on your screen. This is a form that you can use to guide you through the process. It starts off with quotation and proposal, because we obviously believe you should give your client a proposal and a quotation as to the work you're going to do. This will guide you through that process. And then there's some preamble after the client's accepted the assignment as to how you organize your team for whoever is going to deliver this particular work. They should refresh their knowledge on debtors management by reading some of the documentation which we've produced. And then you're ready to start the debtors review. And obviously for each of these BAS forms, you click on them, you can view them within the system. I'm going to show you some of those forms shortly. So the benefit of this is you have a written system that's guiding you through this process of how you can deliver an effective debtors management system to your client. So I'm now going to go back and find the BAS form on the debtors management system. So this is the detailed guideline that you would use. It's suggesting you go to the credit application form, and we're going to show you a credit application form in a moment. And yes, we are recommending that for every potential new credit customer that the salesperson or whoever is talking to that prospect hands them the credit application form, and that it is checked when it is completed. And unless that process occurs, credit should not be extended to anyone. So who's checked the application? Have the referees been contacted? Is this going to be approved? What's the terms of trade? What's the trading limit? Is it a company? Have we got directors' guarantees form? Have we prepared the welcome to new customer letter? Is there any additional information to be included? What about the customer requirements for any additional information? It might be a health certificate. It might be a weighbridge certificate. It could be something that the customer has suggested. This is very important because if that document is not attached to the tax invoice when it is forward, it will probably mean that the client will not pay that expense. And when you notice that payment hasn't been made, someone might fire up and get told, oh no, we never got the weighbridge certificate that is conditional on our custom with your business. They'll probably not contact you and tell you that. It's up to your team to know that, will be their understanding. So this is highlighting the importance of making sure that there's a written system and that every aspect of it is followed. Because one of the real problems in the blowout of debtors days outstanding is that a lot of people do not abide by the terms and conditions that their customer has indicated to them. Well, yeah, we're happy to buy your products and thank you for the offer of a credit account, but we are not going to pay until we receive the following information with each tax invoice. Let's look at the application to open an account. Let's make sure that your client is getting all the information they need. Application to open an account. Who's the potential customer? What are their contact details? What type of legal entity are they? Who's their bank? Who's the key contact? What's the telephone contact? What's the estimated annual sales? Is it a sole trader or is the applicant a company? If so, who are the directors? We need to get directors' application forms and their guarantee for payment. How much credit facility has been applied for, and so on, so that it's clearly established what the application is for. And then you could look at the welcome to new customer letter. Now, this is very important because it's essential that your client clearly establishes that they're welcoming the new customer that's been offered credit terms, but you're also going to confirm to them very clearly what the credit terms are, so that you've established a credit limit of how many dollars that you're prepared to offer. Now, if the estimated trade is $1,000 a month and you're offering them 30-day terms, well, that would obviously be the limit, $1,000. Unless they come back to you and say, no, we're going to increase trade. But then it'd be a good idea to have established a record of their trading terms and how they've paid their previous invoices before you go overboard, or your client goes overboard on issuing additional credit terms to them. It allows your client to be able to confirm whatever the additional conditions were that your client's new customer has imposed. Attached to this should be the terms of trade agreement, because that's very important. And especially if your client is going to register this new customer on the Personal Property Securities Register, they need the terms of trade agreement to be signed. And that should be drafted by your client's solicitor. Also, the retention of title agreement is very important. And that should all be attached. And under the terms of the Personal Property Securities Register, it's essential that this information submitted to the new customer, that the customer signs it, because there then needs to be the processing of the registration on the Personal Property Securities Register, if it is decided to register this customer. Now, that's a separate product package within ESS BIZTOOLS, Personal Property Securities Register. And we have a separate webinar relating to that. So I won't go any further on the Personal Property Securities Register at this stage, other than to indicate to you that it is a very important process. The other part of the welcome the new customer letter is that it gives an opportunity for the sales department to enclose a brochure to go to the new customer, welcoming them, inviting them to Friday afternoon drinks or Wednesday night advisory meeting from customers or whatever that your client wishes to do. There's a questionnaire for the debtors review, which you could use when you sit down and review the system that your client's using. What's the current debtors balances? How much in bad debts was written off in the last 12 months? Do you request all prospective customers to complete the credit application form? Very important. Do you contact the referees to determine the credit worthiness of the applicant? You don't want your client to be getting someone else's problem. A sale is not completed until payment is received, and you need to be making clients aware of that. It's no use making sales if you're not going to get paid, or you've got to spend enormous resources on getting your payment. Who's the person authorizing the opening of the account? And so it goes on, so that you can make sure you've got an appropriate record. And all this should be going to someone in a management position to authorize the account being open. And that's the system for debtors, not just giving credit to anyone that walks in and asks for it. It's completely different to a cash sale or a sale that's getting paid by a credit card. You're getting immediate payment. You can hand over the goods. When you're dealing with credit customers, you don't know what's going to happen. So your client needs to tie up the deal as much as they can before parting with the goods or performing the services. We've got a proposal for a debtors management evaluation. So this is part of the package you've got there. As you can see, there are some that I'm just skipping over at this stage. You can go through and look at them in detail. This is your proposal. You can draft your own, of course, but this is a suggested one we've included in the system. We have these sorts of proposals in each of the 34 product packages that ESS BIZTOOLS has produced. So we tell them your approach, how you're going to go about doing this. What are we going to be looking at? What do you believe the outcome will be? What's the timetable? Clients like to know when are you going to start and when you're going to be finished. Because you do cause a bit of disruption when you go into your client's premises to undertake this type of research. What's your quotation? Who's the key personnel that's going to be involved? It's a courtesy to tell your client who's going to be coming in and out of their office. What's your payment terms? My suggestion is there for a job like this, which I have estimated in the material, would cost around $1,500 plus GST, 50% up front and the balance on completion. But that's up to you. If this client's a very long-standing, very, very good client, you might be prepared to undertake the work and get paid at the end. That's up to you. Our suggestion, though, is you get an upfront payment. Additional work, always very important to qualify additional work. So if the client halfway through this assignment says, well, can you go ahead now and introduce that written system you've mentioned to me, you make sure that that's not part of this transaction. You will be billing your client a separate fee, and always get the client to sign off in the acceptance of any of these types of assignments. Well, that's how we've drafted it all within ESS BIZTOOLS. So hopefully that gives you that guidance as to what we think is very important for you to be able to attend to. So that's the overview of the system for the finalization of the debtors management system for your clients? Do you need more information? If you do, please contact us. If you don't understand the system and need some help on implementing it for your clients, you can email me, peter@essbiztools.com.au, or telephone 0747241118. So thank you very much for your participation in this webinar. I hope this briefing on the debtors management system has given you a clear insight as to the material that you have available within the ESS BizTools system to undertake this very important asset review. Debtors, a very important asset in most SMEs, balance sheets, so that your client has better control over the fiscal management issues affecting their business. Thank you very much, and I look forward to talking to you as we present further updates on the product packages within ESS BizTools. Stay safe. Have a great day. Goodbye.